Hey, for New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren. What's going on?
Hey, man. How's it going with you? How's life treating you these days, my friend?
Oh, I mean, adequately, I guess. Sort of. I don't know.
Adequately. That's something to strive for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got, you know what? We'll get to our topic in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the latest episode of SNL, Ana de Armas and Karol G, season 48, episode 18 from April 15th, 2023. But I want to follow up on something we were talking about a week or two ago.
Ooh.
I caught up on the latest season of Party Down.
All right, yeah, Party Down.
We were talking about that briefly a week or two back. You'd seen it, I hadn't.
Right.
And since then, like the other day, I sat down and I marathoned all 6 episodes from season 3.
Yeah, 6 episodes, nice quick watch.
Yeah, quick watch. Stupidly started it like after midnight, so I finished it up at like 4 a.m.
Oh, wow, you party, man. You burned that midnight oil.
I did. And little disappointing.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, little disappointing, which is a shame because we're both huge fans of the show, and we were really looking forward to it coming back. We're really excited to hear they finally gotten it everything together to do some more episodes. And I watched it and I was like, oh, that was just okay and not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, like what do you attribute that to? Is it because like another thing where they have all the original cast members and they have all the original creators and writers? Oh no, they may have different writers, but like it's the same team that gave us those first amazing 2 seasons. So like, what did you think went wrong? Like where do you think things went awry?
I think there were a couple things. I think the biggest one for me was that even though they had most of the cast together, they didn't really have the cast together. Like, I mean, Jane Lynch and Megan Mullally's characters are both no longer working for the catering company.
Right.
And they changed the dynamics of it. Like Jane Lynch's character, Constance, becomes like an investor or co-owner of Party Down.
Right, because she got all that money from her late husband who, spoiler, I guess, passed away at the end of season 2.
Right. Like literally minutes after they got married. Yeah. She inherited all his money. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Constance is an owner now. So, but then after the first episode, we don't see much of Constance. She's just there on Zoom chats.
Yeah. For
half the time. And then we've got Megan Mullally, she's moved on. She's like managing her daughter, Escapade. I thought it was Escalade, like the car.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Escapade, like the Janet Jackson song. Okay,
well, whatever. She's like managing her daughter, who's still an aspiring actress, who's now like 23 because it's been so damn long since the show.
It's been a minute.
And so we don't see too much of her. She misses like a few episodes too. And they have a few new characters who are working for Party Down, but I didn't find either of the new characters especially interesting.
We have Zoe Chow, I believe, who plays Lucy, who's like the new chef. Uh-huh. And I forget the actor's name, but he plays Saxon. And, both of them are younger than the original OG staff. But Saxon, he's not trying to be an actor or anything else. Like he works in catering, but he's trying to be a social media influencer.
Right.
And I do like that little kind of thing he brings to it, where he's like a younger person, where he doesn't see acting or writing or whatever else anybody else is trying to do as like a big thing. He's like Instagram influencing is like what he's trying to do. And I do like the fact that like no one else really kind of understands it or gets it and like really doesn't respect it. That's like, it kind of shows like that age gap.
Yeah. I mean, that was okay. Like so much of the season just didn't really rise above okay for me. And I like that the characters were in kind of like different places, or at least some of them were. I like that, in the first episode, Kyle has basically made it, and he's like headlining a superhero movie.
Right. MCU style movie.
Yeah, and then he kind of fucks that up, and it all goes away. And so then he's back working for Party Down. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I think my issues with it were like the thing I liked about Party Down is like it was maybe it just kind of seemed it felt a little kind of real because like it did bring in it was like slapsticky and a comedy and goofy, but then it did get very brutally honest about showbiz and like the things you got to kind of go through in order to make it, and how the odds are just so stacked against you to make it. And like, is it worth it? Like when do you quit? Like, how much of your life and energy do you put into this dream before you say, I can't do this anymore? It is ridiculous. Like, because we all know they say, oh, you just gotta put in your hard work and just something will happen. You'll get your shot. You just gotta go in there and put in the work. But that's not very realistic, because we all know tons of people who have put in the work, who are really talented, who just haven't made it for whatever reason. So I really enjoyed the way they kind of really took a look at that. But I think with this new season, if some of the episodes felt very like a sitcom-y rather than actually realistic,
like more exaggerated than the original show was.
Yeah, the one episode I really wasn't crazy about was maybe the prom episode, where it just felt very kind of staged and very it didn't flow as naturally as the previous seasons did. Like, I think from this season to third season, my favorite episode was probably, I think the radio station luau party was probably my favorite episode, I'd say. I think that one I think felt the most like the old party.
The one with Bobby Moynihan and Judy Reyes?
Yes, I think, I would say that was probably my favorite. It felt the most like the old school Party Down, whereas the other one, it still feels like, it just didn't feel like it had the same pop, the same energy as the first few seasons, which bummed me out.
I'm also wondering, I know Fred Savage directed a lot of the original episodes. He was probably the director they used the most. And I'm pretty sure he did not work on this one at all because, some things have come out about Fred Savage since the time of the original Party Down.
Oh, so, Savage is right.
Yeah. He was kind of unfortunately revealed to be a bit of a sex pest. And so...
Jesus.
I'm imagining that the show has cut ties with him, so I wonder if that was a big factor.
It may be. Sometimes, it is one of those things where you just remove one little component of the thing that made the thing so well, and then it just, the whole thing just doesn't... I keep saying the word thing, I can't... My words... Hulk not good with words. Right. But, it's, you take that one factor out of something, and then the whole stew just doesn't work right. It doesn't taste the way it used to. So it's possible that maybe that happened.
But it's also been a long time since the original show. It's been over a decade, but I don't know. It sounds like I'm being kind of hard on it, but there were some things I liked about it. I liked that Henry was in kind of a different place.
Yeah. I think you probably told me last time, you wished that you see more between Roman and Kyle and more their back and forth bickering.
Yeah, we didn't really see the same dynamic between Roman and Kyle that we saw before. And that's... I kind of missed that. I was looking to see more of a relationship develop between Constance and... what's the name of Megan Mullally's character? I'm blanking on it.
Oh, Lydia.
Because they didn't interact much on the original show. So I feel like there was fertile ground there, but... Yeah,
but that didn't quite happen.
Yeah, but both of them were just, at times, literally phoning in their roles.
Yeah.
So it was just if we couldn't get everyone together in the same room for most of the episodes, why are we even doing this,
Yeah, it's why don't we just wait till everybody can do it, and then we do it?
Yeah. I don't know, because like they presented it as like, oh, everybody's coming back except Lizzie Kaplan, who had conflicts, and that wasn't quite true, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh, spoiler alert. But yeah, like that. Yeah, it wasn't. I will admit that scene I did enjoy quite a bit.
Well, no, I'm not. I wasn't talking about. Yeah, spoiler alert. Lizzie Kaplan does come back for one scene in the last episode. I was talking about the fact that Jane Lynch and Megan Mullally weren't there for so much of it.
Oh, that's right. All right,
and it felt like they had conflicts and they could literally. I don't know. It was a weird choice, and I assume it only happened that way because they had other commitments or they had limited time or whatever.
Yeah, maybe, but it just, yeah, like, look, I'll always love Party Down. It always has a special place in my heart. Those first 2 seasons are probably some of the best sitcoms seasons, maybe ever. I don't know. They're very strong.
Yeah,
two very strong, very underrated seasons of television that really needed to get more love than it did. But the third season is just. This new season was definitely a step back.
Yeah, and I mean, and so yeah, it was a little disappointing.
I don't know what are the good shows right now, because I want to catch up on these streaming shows that I've been getting behind on. I know Ted Lasso just came back, so I'm gonna catch up on Ted Lasso again.
Yeah, Ted Lasso is back. Ted Lasso is okay.
I think I'm gonna do Paramount Plus for a week, because I think Picard season 3 is just about to wrap up, and I hear that's been really good, and I'm getting constantly spoiled on that because people are assholes online.
They really are.
Yeah,
like, folks, don't be assholes online.
Don't put a fucking GIF
of
the big spoiler from the show like right after the episode finishes, because I've already had like literally 2 or 3 things spoiled for me from Picard season 3.
Yeah, people love to do that. They're just like, oh my god, can you believe that blah 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 died?
Right.
It's like the episode just came on.
And what I hate is like when they think they're being clever, but you're not being clever, because like if anybody knows anything about the show, they're gonna be able to fucking guess.
Yeah, like,
and I might hate that even more, where they think like, oh well, I didn't actually say that character X comes back, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but you were like, oh well, wait till you see which character comes back, and here's a pun on their name, and or whatever.
Wow, this really just turned into 2 grown men just complaining about what they hate.
Well, that's the thing. Is
what else I
want
hate?
Another show to love. I want to fall in love with another show.
I want to fall in love again, man.
Because I don't have love in my life, so I need to project those feelings onto television. Because, again, dead inside.
Yeah. You want to love again,
right? I want a show that I can really dig and fall in love with.
Have you seen the Poker Face?
I gotta give Poker Face a try. I hear good things about Poker Face, and the fact that it's like reminiscent of Columbo.
Very much so. Like
but I do find Natasha Lyonne kind of off-putting. So I've got it on my queue.
Okay,
but I've been keeping Poker Face a little at arm's length because of that. I want to try Poker Face.
Okay,
I want to give it a sincere try.
All right, I'm just looking through my list of what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I mean, Miss Maisel, the new season's starting.
I tried Ms. Maisel. I hated everybody on that show.
Okay.
I was I despise everyone on the show.
Wow.
I made it like 2 or 3 episodes, and I was just like, nope, not for me.
This is just an angry episode right off the bat.
Well, I filled to the brim with hate.
Okay. Got it.
I mean, Ted Lasso, I didn't quite finish the 2nd season, so I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit and catch up.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm looking forward to Ted Lasso.
Well, I mean, we're recording this on Sunday. New season of Barry comes on. I'm very much.
I mean, hey, I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm all about the Barry.
Oh,
I want Barry to come back, and it's coming back soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
No, it's coming back today. It's like
today. Okay.
Yeah. 2 episodes are coming out.
Well,
today,
if I can get HBO Max to be working again. Or it's just Max now, or it's about to become Max.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't understand.
And somehow my HBO Max got screwed up, where it's like I'm going on there to log in, and it's like, oh, well, let me know what cable system you're on, and if you're already signed up. And I'm like, I shouldn't be having this much trouble. Yeah. So I haven't been on HBO Max in a little while.
Okay, all right. Well, if we find something if I think of something that I know you'll like, I will let you know.
Yeah, and like people, give me suggestions. I want to know what the good shows are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to find something else I really dig.
Yeah, help John love again, people.
Yeah, I need something to like reignite my faith in the television medium.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of television medium, we should probably talk about this episode of SNL that we've been dodging for like the past 10 minutes, I'm going to say.
This is, something like that. It's more like 15, but yeah, so we're going to talk about the latest episode of SNL, Ana de Armas, Karol G, Season 48, Episode 18 from April 15th, 2023.
Yes. Ana de Armas.
First time hosting.
First time hosting. Actress on the rise. Yeah, you recognize her from the movie Blonde. You recognize her from Knives Out. She has a movie coming out with Chris Evans called Ghosted on Apple TV. Like her star is ascending, and we are here for it.
Yes, I'm a fan of hers. I liked her a lot in the things that I have seen her in. I haven't seen every single thing she's done.
Yeah, she was also in the James Bond movie.
She was in No Time to Die. Like really briefly, it's really more like an extended cameo. She wasn't like the full-fledged Bond girl in that, which I was disappointed by because she was so good in the part. She's got like a flair for comedy. She was kind of a humorous character in that, and she did some comedy and Knives Out.
Yeah, absolutely. She's dabbled in the world of comedy, so this is her hosting this little comedy program we know as SNL.
I haven't seen Blonde yet. Is Blonde worth seeing?
I haven't seen it either. From what I hear, it's very divisive.
Right.
It's a lot of people.
It's based on like a somewhat controversial Marilyn Monroe biography.
Yeah, like there's a lot of uncomfortable, just abuse scenes that she goes through, and a lot of people just kind of see it as like almost like torture porn in a way. I haven't seen it. Yeah, but a lot of people are.
I've heard that criticism, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's something I would enjoy.
Yeah, but like, I mean, she's come out and defended it, saying like, this is the story you wanted to tell. Like, it make people uncomfortable, but sometimes art makes you uncomfortable. So, but
it's like when it's like a thing where it's like, this super famous person, their life was total shit off screen. Yeah. It's like, but what do I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. It can feel a little like salacious and just like they're just kind of doing this and
it's like, there has to be at least some of that spark that made them a star. Yeah. In there,
Absolutely. So, yes, Ana de Armas hosting.
Ana de Armas hosting SNL.
Let's dive into it. Cold open.
First warm day of the year, red carpet cold open. This is kind of what I was hoping for with last week's cold open, where it's not a political sketch. It's just like a bit of absurd silliness to start the show.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically like a retread of what they did during the Jack Harlow episode in Halloween, when they had that one sketch where they were just talking to all the people you see in New York's on the streets on a Halloween night,
right?
But they just repurposed it to be like the people you see in the park in New York City on the first warm day of the year, because
they love doing the red carpet arrival thing.
They really do.
It really has become a go-to sketch structure for them. I guess because it is easy and it lets you do a lot of rapid-fire gags and it gives you an instant structure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and for those that don't know, up here in the Northeast, I believe it was like this past Thursday or Friday. Yeah, it hit like 88 or 90 degrees. Mm-hmm. It was like super crazy hot.
It's warmed up. We're sitting here in the studio in our short sleeve shirts.
That's right. No pants.
That's right. That's because that's how we roll.
That's right.
Because we've gone through a few years of recording the podcast remotely. We do not want to do it clothed anymore.
That's right. I'll be damned if I go back to wearing pants. That's right. This is who I am now. Deal with me.
So we had Heidi and Bowen as the hosts live from Central Park, and just commenting on all the parts, all the different freaky character types that we see. We got Mikey as the older man doing an aggressive power walk. We've got James Austin Johnson and Longfellow as two perverts out to pleasure themselves.
Yeah, like it's interesting because like when they cut to them, you see them both wearing you see them both having with binoculars, so you just automatically assume, oh, they're probably bird watchers,
right?
And then they get revealed to be just perverts,
right? And James's character has actually a fake arm in his little windbreaker, so he has another arm free to pleasure himself.
Yes, and something I just realized: this is the only time we see James Austin Johnson in the show.
Yeah, late show for him.
Yeah, very late.
I think this was the only time we saw Andrew Dismukes as well.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I saw him pop up at Good Nights, and I was like, no, yeah, we didn't see much of Andrew this episode.
We were light on the mukes.
But, I mean, this got most everybody in here. We had Molly as a woman learning to rollerblade. We had Devin and Punky as park employees who do not care about their job, and they are straight up stoned.
That's
and
right, you do you.
People do whatever.
We see Dismukes as a grown man with a drone, and of course, they're hinting that he's going to do creepy stuff with the drone,
following women in skimpy clothing and stuff.
Yes, as creepy men are wont to.
And they had kind of a callback to that later, where Ego's character says, "Who is a woman on a cell phone who can't find her friend?"
Right, I'm over here, I'm by the tree, like I said.
Yeah, I'm giving vague instructions like that, which I could relate to. I remember once going to the Halloween parade in the city, and we were trying to hook up with a friend of ours, and we were going back and forth on our cell phones, texting back and forth.
Right.
And she was just not helping us out at all with finding her. And I was like, and so I texted her, I was like, where are you? And I said, I swear to God, if she replies at the parade, I am done with her for the rest of the night. And she replies at the parade. And I was like, nope, okay. You're not going to give me anything more than that. You're not going to give me any specific instructions.
Don't tell me what street. Don't give me a landmark.
Don't say I'm by this bodega. Don't.
Yeah. Just
give me the vaguest possible thing at the parade. I was like, nope, done with you.
Where are you?
Yeah.
In New York City.
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well just say that.
That's the most unhelpful instructions ever. Let's see. We had Marcelo Hernandez as a man with a clipboard who asks if they have a second for a good cause. Inspired so much hatred.
Yeah. Those people are just not well liked.
Yeah. Keenan was a crazy man with a microphone, and Sarah was the woman who is talking to him as if he's a rational human being who can have his mind changed.
Yes.
I liked that.
We have Chloe as a wealthy woman and her child, her child, and her saying, the moment that my child is away from me, I'll freak out, he's lost or
freaks the fuck out when he disappears for 1 second.
Yes, as you do. Yeah, I mean, I thought the sketch was okay. It just seemed very rapid fire, very, here's this person, here's this person, here's this person. There weren't too many jokes in there. It seemed like they were hoping that just seeing the person would be enough to
the character type,
kind of like the way they did in the Jack Harlow sketch before this.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay, but not super.
Yeah, it didn't really send me, but I appreciated that it was just a non-political cold open, and we didn't have Trump showing up unexpectedly like last week.
Yeah, I will admit that the fact that it wasn't a political cold open made it.
You see James Austin Johnson as another character, and you're like, oh, thank God, we're safe.
Yeah. Oh, he's not Trump.
John Trumbull marks himself safe from another Trump sketch on SNL.
That's great. And I also did like when Heidi and Bowen said live from New York, they get interrupted by Ego saying, oh, yeah, I see you. I'm over here on the phone. So she...
Right. And she's like, oh, I'm going to just be waiting by this rock in a red bikini. And then we see Andrew Dismukes with the drone kind of following her. And I thought that was a neat callback.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah, so overall, I thought it was okay. The fact that it wasn't political was great, but still needed a little bit more comedy juice to pump it up a bit. I could hear the audience was kind of giving it medium laughs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No writing credits on this that we have seen so far. So, whoever did it, way to figure out how to get paid for hanging out in Central Park.
Yeah.
For an afternoon.
You did it, guy. Or gal, or there, them. You live the dream. Monologue. Let's get into our monologue.
Ana de Armas, coming out, delivering a monologue.
Yes, written by Mike DeCenzo, Jake Nordwind.
Who are pretty much the regular monologue people now.
Monologue boys.
She comes out, she's speaking Spanish.
Sí.
It's some of that foreign talk.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. You would. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is.
And she talks about how she was, born and raised in Cuba,
right.
and didn't learn English until like she came to the U.S. in like her mid-20s.
Yeah, because I thought that, like, I don't know, for some reason I just assumed that, like, she probably came to the States when she was a kid, because that's, for the most part, whenever I hear about, celebrities or whoever are coming to the U.S., it's usually when they're kids. But, like, she was like, I came here when I was 26. I was like, 26? Yeah. You're a grown-ass person by then. Wow.
Yeah. I think she had, like, a career in Cuba before she came to the U.S.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. And, she said she learned English from watching episodes of Friends.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting, too. And also another interesting tidbit, I believe this is true, where she is now the second Cuban person to host SNL. The first being, of course, the late great Desi Arnaz from season 1.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit you guys can bring up at parties.
Yeah,
make you really popular.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, and she said that she's becoming an American citizen in 3 weeks.
Yay!
That's cool. That's good.
It's pretty neat. I like that.
That's good for her.
She
can vote.
Yeah, rock the vote. She seemed a little nervous. Am I not saying that?
I remember her like misspeaking briefly early on, but she caught herself very quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's natural for the host to have a little nervous energy.
Yeah.
The monologue seemed a little rambling, disconnected. I mean, it was just kind of like, oh, here are interesting things we've learned from Ana de Armas over the course of this week.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be a lot of like connective tissue.
Yeah, it wasn't really a through line. Like, she closes out with a story about she did, like, her first American movie was with Robert De Niro.
Yeah, a movie called Hands of Stone,
which I have not seen or heard of. But he was like, oh, I'm going to be in Cuba soon, and I will look up your family. And then she like gave Robert De Niro her family's contact info, and then Robert De Niro apparently like went to her dad's work and hung out with him.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do.
Which, I'm like, that's either remarkably nice or Robert De Niro just has nothing to do.
Yeah, that's like a weird thing to do. Like, wait, so you're gonna go to your like your coworker's family's house,
right?
Like, that you worked on this movie with? Like, why are you doing that, Robert De Niro? Don't you have anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he just wanted some friends in Cuba or something.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to hang out with.
But, I'm just kind of a little surprised because I always thought Robert De Niro was like this really private, kind of shy guy. So that seems very extroverted for Robert De Niro.
Yeah,
right?
Really much so. Like, he's like known to be like, he's a well-known introvert. Like,
right.
But so.
But maybe he just really hit it off with Ana de Armas, and really, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
she seems lovely.
I mean, Mamma Mia. Which,
well, I mean, she just seems like a very nice person.
Yes,
that's what I'm
saying.
Like, beyond her staggeringly good looks.
Yes, she seems very sweet. But yeah, Hands of Stone movie came out 2016. Edgar Ramirez, Robert De Niro, Usher, the singer Usher was in this. John Turturro, Ellen Barkin. Yeah, I don't remember this movie coming out at all. I
had not heard of that movie. Like, the first place I think ever saw her was that, what was that home invasion movie that Keanu Reeves did with Eli Roth?
Knock Knock or something like that?
Knock Knock, that was it. And she was like one of the two psycho women who like they come in and they seduce Keanu Reeves.
Yes,
and then they like torture him for a weekend.
Yeah. That was.
And I've seen like I think about half of that movie on. I think I was flipping around on cable one day, and I was just like, "Oh, let's check this out."
That's definitely like I think it's definitely one of the early movies she did. And she was in War Dogs with Miles Teller and Jonah Hill.
I know of that. I have not seen it. So of course saw Knives Out, and I was like, "Oh, well, she was wonderful in that."
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049 she was in.
Right, I remember her in that.
Yeah, but I think Knives Out was the one that like.
That's what broke her.
Yeah, I would say so.
And she did, I'm forgetting the name of it. It was this thing that she did with Ben Affleck, and I guess this is the movie she hooked up with Ben Affleck on.
Oh, Deep Water.
Deep Water, which that is a bizarre movie.
Really? I'd never seen it, but I've heard such. People being like, yeah, that was...
It's like this Adrian Lyne erotic thriller.
Okay.
But the main thing I remember is like everyone in this neighborhood is just having dinner parties. It's like a constant stream of dinner parties throughout this movie. I'm just like, how does anybody in this town have time to have affairs and murder people because they have all these dinner parties to plan? Do they have like really great caterers?
It's like I got to murder my wife and be home
right
and set up dinner by 8.
Right.
I can't do it.
And also like Old MacDonald Has a Farm plays into the plot.
The fuck? What?
Yeah, yeah. No, you wouldn't generally put Old MacDonald Has a Farm into your erotic thriller, right?
I mean, no, it's not a very erotic song. I don't.
No, they literally play it during the closing credits of the movie.
What you mean, like the OG children's version of it, or like some sexualized remake?
No, it's. I think it was like literally a child singing "Old MacDonald Has a Farm."
The fuck
during the closing credits, and I can't even remember how it played into the plot at this point. I think like their kid sings it, like Affleck and Armas have a kid in the movie.
And the kid sings.
And that plays into the plot somehow, and it's significant enough that they bring it back during the closing credits. And I'm just like, what the... Huh?
That's very unsettling.
It's very weird, and it's not even like one of those things where it's like, well, we're going to really slow it down and make it sound super ominous.
Yeah.
It's not even that.
MacDonald had a farm.
Yeah, it's not like a Tom Waits version.
Yeah, I don't know.
MacDonald had a farm.
Yeah.
Oh, and on that farm he had some pigs.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the monologue. Jesus, where
So, like I was saying, weird meandering monologue.
Yeah, it was short, so that's good. But
yeah.
It was just kind of it was kind of all over the place and just needed to be like streamlined a little bit more. But
yeah.
I think she's charming enough to pull it off.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I was rooting for her. I had like an affection for her from this, so absolutely. I guess it did its job. So
yeah, I'd say so. All right, let's get into it. First sketch of the night: Matt Shat game show.
Yeah, this is a character that Mikey's done a few times before.
Yes, he did this on the Margot Robbie episode.
Robbie, yeah,
and did on the Jennifer Lopez episode.
I felt like he'd done this character with Jennifer Lopez. I definitely remember the Margot Robbie thing where they were on like a newscast.
Right.
And it's Mikey is like a very average, unexceptional looking dude.
Yeah.
Who doesn't seem to have a lot going for him. And he's married to a spectacularly beautiful woman.
Yeah, like when I said before that, I was worried about the episode being mostly about the host's beauty.
Mm-hmm.
The sketch like this I was talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's but you were right. Like
it seems to be their go-to
yeah.
whenever they have a spectacularly beautiful woman to host.
Yeah. It's like, we got an incredibly hot host. We got to put in Matt Shat.
Yeah. Because Mikey wants a vehicle where he can pretend to be married to these spectacularly beautiful women.
Hey, shoot your shot. This sketch was written by Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel. So
yes.
It makes sense. So it's basically the same premise as those previous sketches, but now it's in a game show format. Because game show format there's a new territory for SNL. So this is very
we have Keenan as the host of the game show. We have Devin and Heidi as the other contestants. What a thankless role that is.
Yeah, they don't get anything to do.
Well, they got to guess a little bit. Like they got in on the guessing of. Because the basic gag is like, well, what does she see in this guy?
Right.
And we find out details about him, and people are like, oh, well, he's rich, right? And he's like, oh, no. And we find out he works as a taste tester at Purina Dog Chow, and he's not even paid yet. He's just a volunteer right now.
Exactly. One day they might pay me. So fingers crossed.
And there's other speculation where it's like, oh, well, he must. Does he have like a massive?
Yes.
Penis.
He's a hanging 8 and a standing 12.
Right. And
I've never heard that term before, but now I'm going to use it.
It's a great way to phrase it. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm like a hanging 5 and a standing 4. And he's like actually shorter.
And there was this
I guess it gets denser.
Yeah, don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they also reveal that Matt is nervous at one point, so he pulls his shirt over his head and grabs his head, and we see he has multiple nipples all over his body.
And by the way, SNL makeup department extremely convincing fake nipples.
Yes, absolutely.
Those all looked like legit real nipples.
I had to look away from it. I was like, oh.
I mean, like the pasting, the gluing. It was a little disturbing to
so
look
a little
at.
yeah. It's almost like a David Cronenberg film for a minute.
And I was like, did Sarah have a hand in writing this sketch? Because like suddenly there's body horror in the middle of it.
Yeah. I will.
And by the way, I just happened to rewatch the movie Man with a Golden Gun this week, and that has like extremely unconvincing fake nipples.
Really?
In it. Yeah.
Just looks like Wad the chewing gum or something.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. They were way too brown. They didn't really match the natural nipples on either Christopher Lee or Roger Moore, but that's neither here nor there. But I guess I'm just saying fake nipple technology has come a long way in the last 40 years.
It's come a long way, baby. We did it. But I will admit there was one point I did kind of like where, Keenan is the host trying to figure out why, this dime piece that is Ana de Armas is with this schlubby dude.
Right.
And then, he's almost kind of going mad by it, so much so that he kind of steps off stage.
Right.
And kind of steps
he walks up, right towards the camera.
Right towards the camera. And he's, trying to figure out, and he's talking to himself. Mm-hmm. I thought that shook things up a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, that's...
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
I still feel like Keenan isn't the strongest possible choice they could have as a game show host.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they just made him the game show host because he was the guy in the first two sketches, not believe or having his trouble wrapping his mind around this coupling.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, well, since Keenan was in those two sketches, I'll just put him in this third one to make him the host.
Yeah, we just I don't know. We've never really filled the gap of the great game show hosts on SNL since
a Hader.
Since Bill Hader left the show.
Yeah. I think maybe James Austin Johnson might be able to fill it, but they got to give him more chances.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded seeing James Austin Johnson doing it, but...
Yeah, I get it. But overall, I thought the sketch was all right.
It was all right. I mean, it's a bit predictable because I was, as soon as you recognize that character, you're like, oh, okay, well, I know what the sketch is going to be.
Yeah, very much
It's going to be, super hot lady married to not super hot dude.
Yeah, schlubby man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. So, yeah, off to a so-so start, I'd say.
An adequate start.
I see. Or that.
Next, we had American Girl doll movie trailer. This is kind of like parodying the Barbie trailer.
Yeah.
Or the Barbie movie with Margot Robbie.
Yeah, which apparently, I did not see this coming, but I remember a couple days ago, the Barbie trailer came out the same day as the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer.
Right.
And more people were talking about the Barbie trailer than the Spider-Man trailer. I was like, wow. But yeah, this Barbie trailer just blew up online, and everybody's talking about it and became a huge thing. And I guess everybody's going to go see the movie when it comes out in July. So they figure, well, let's
I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter this week about apparently the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer are opening on the same day.
They are, but then I heard that Oppenheimer might be moving into the fall now. So I don't know. Maybe Oppenheimer got spooked by the Goliath that is Barbie.
I mean, fall just seems like a more logical time to release your Oscar bait type movie, and I'm assuming Oppenheimer is like an Oscar bait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Movie.
It's the way it's shot and the subject matter. It definitely seems like for your consideration type movie. Whereas Barbie's like a goofy, pink, fun movie.
Right. But, I mean, people seem to be really looking forward to that.
Right. So
so here they're turning it around where instead of Barbie, we're basing a movie on the American Girl dolls where they're kind of like... They're kind of like Cabbage Patch dolls were back in the day, where each doll is individual and has its own story.
Yeah, and a lot of these stories take place, in a certain era, a certain decade. I feel like somebody on the writing staff really loves American Dolls because this is our second American Doll sketch this season because we got one during the Travis Kelce episode with that American Girl Cafe. So now we're getting,
that's right. Yeah, true.
So now we're getting this American.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. So now we're getting an American Girl movie trailer.
Well, this sketch was written by Chloe Fineman, Allison Gates, Vanessa Jackson, and Sierra O'Sullivan. So I'm assuming one or all of them are big American girl doll fans.
Yeah, apparently they are a big thing. They have like a big community. There's an American Girl store in Midtown Manhattan, so it is a thing. So, but
which doll did you get there?
I don't want to answer that question.
I just want to know what her name is, what her story is.
Her name is Penelope, and she is lovely.
Okay, all right. But I mean, here it's just kind of making fun of how, because like so many of these dolls are from like the turn of the century or whatever. They all have like kind of horrifying backstories.
Yeah, I think Chloe is a bitchy orphan from Victorian times whose parents died in a boat.
Right.
And
they say at one point, like, all their relatives died of old-timey diseases. And we find out Ego's character is actually an escaped slave.
Yes, I don't know my birthday because I'm a runaway slave.
Right.
I was like, oh, Jesus.
And, so it went dark.
It got dark quick, like, especially at the one point where they're all, together. And I think Ana de Armas plays like a Mexican doll is sad because she doesn't remember her memory of her parents is fading away.
Right.
Then Sarah says, "Oh, don't be sad. Look what I can do." And then she coughs into a napkin and there's blood.
Yeah.
And then a second later she dies of cholera.
Right. Right. And we see her like her body wrapped up in cloth and just like dumped out the back of the wagon where they're traveling across the country. This was cute. I kind of liked this. This was cool.
Yeah, the dark turns it took I liked. Like them going into the modern world in a covered wagon and like almost like Oregon Trail where they just die of dysentery.
Right.
And of course, like the critics loving it, saying like we loved it. Says Girls Who Played Soccer magazine, which that's a very specific joke.
Unusually specific. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I think I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this wasn't a bad pre-tape. I enjoyed the dark turns it took, and I thought it was all right.
It was enjoyable.
Enjoyable, yes.
Yes.
I will leave it at that.
Next, we have album recording session. This is a bit of a callback to... They've done this before, or at least similar things before. Like a few weeks back, they were recording the sound effects for the video game.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan episode, right?
Right. And... yeah, they're like recording something, and the people aren't quite getting it, and they're going on weird directions.
Right. So in this one, Devin Walker plays this rapper, Young Spicy, and like if you notice in a lot of the hip hop songs, you always have some women kind of throwing like little ad libs throughout the song, like Maybach music, or like "ooh, you nasty baby," or it's like little things like that throughout the song.
Little asides.
Little asides. That's the word. Boom. Yeah. You know your hip hop, all right. So it's this one has Ego and Ana recording little asides for the songs, and they say things like, "Oh, Young Spicy, you so fuego," and then they go into other things like saying, "Oh, damn Spicy, you don't know how to read."
Yeah.
Like, "Ooh, little Spicy, you illiterate."
Yeah, and then he's like, "No, I can read. I'm not illiterate." And
I'm
then
a reader.
Yeah, and they go into like, "Oh, well, he has trouble with math." And,
math.
And yeah, what's with them doing the little stutter thing themselves? I'm like, you don't do that like electronically.
They do, but I guess they just did that to maybe hammer the point home,
I guess,
or just make fun of the Maybach music type of thing.
I thought that was a little weird. I don't know if we really needed the runner in the sketch about Keenan wanting to get lunch.
Yeah, that was kind of unnecessary.
That just felt like, we need to give Keenan something more to do because God forbid he just be in a sketch and give support to everybody else.
Like, no. We need to have Keenan being really pumped about getting gyros after this. With Tzatziki sauce on the side.
Yeah, I mean, it was more weird than funny. And it just seemed... disruptive seems too strong a word, but maybe a little distracting to the sketch.
Yes, I would say it was a little distracting. It was like, all right, he's more focused about lunch than what's going on here. Yeah. And then, there's a little bit of escalation where the two women in the booth, Ego and Ana, talk about, it's like, oh, damn, little Spicy, why you sleep next to your laundry? Or it's like, why you got a ring around your toilet? Damn, you live like this? And it's like them, like, kind of going more and more in depth into, like, how the Young Spicy is.
His housekeeping is not the best.
Exactly. And then they say, oh, damn, Spicy, why is the room spinning? I only had one Sprite. I think you put something in my drink. He's like, no.
I like that.
Delete that.
Delete
that. Don't put that.
Also, like, about halfway through the sketch, I was thinking, like, well, honestly, they are getting enough good stuff that they could just put those into the song and just ignore the others.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have a sketch, baby.
I guess not. I started questioning the reality of the sketch about halfway through.
Just have fun with it, man. Why are you thinking, baby?
Okay.
Just lay back and enjoy it, girl.
All right.
That sounded creepy.
It kind of did, especially after we're just talking about somebody's drink being roofied. But
overall, that sketch was all right.
Yeah. I was kind of on it, I guess. No writing credits on this one, so
no one wants to take credit.
I guess they just shipped in some mediocre person to write it.
This is where I reveal that I wrote that sketch.
Oh, twist. Plot twist.
Plot twist. Next up, Spanish Class.
Spanish Class, written by Mike DeCenzo, Martin Harley, Marcelo Hernandez, John Higgins, Ben Marshall. I bet Marcelo wrote the Spanish parts.
Actually, because I was on Twitter, and I believe one of the people online or on Twitter that we follow, Memes Essential,
yes,
he mentioned that this is actually the idea for the sketch actually came from Marcelo's stand-up, because he does have a bit in his act where he talks about how he went into a Spanish class in Cleveland, Ohio, and he was like the smartest person in the class. Like he knew more than the Spanish teacher did.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
The Spanish teacher was like some white guy in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a Latino person.
That big Spanish-speaking hub.
Yes, of course.
Of Cleveland, Ohio.
Sí, Cleveland, Ohio.
So in this sketch, we have Mikey Day as the Spanish teacher, and he's teaching sort of rudimentary Spanish, I suppose.
Yes, me llamo...
Community Season 1 Spanish.
Yes, Senor Macintosh.
Right.
He goes by.
Right. He's not quite on the level of Senor Chang.
I'll allow it.
And then, it's a bunch of white people learning Spanish, learning basic Spanish, and then Marcelo and Ana de Armas walk in, and they are, of course, fluent Spanish speakers, and they are speaking way too rapidly for Mikey to really grasp everything they're saying.
Right. They're exchange students. They come in saying, "Oh yeah, me llamo Hugo," and like you immediately see the teacher, Mikey Day, being just overwhelmed by how well they know
Towards
Spanish.
The end of the sketch, when like Marcelo is just rattling off rapid Spanish, Mikey's character, he looks like he's started to have an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
That was how nervous and not following it he looked.
Yeah, just breaking out into a cold sweat. Just like, uh-oh. That thing Mikey does where he just seems like overwhelmed by something.
Mikey did a very nice job in that. And, Marcelo and Ana de Armas were both good in it. This was cute. It didn't really rise much above cute for me, I suppose.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say it was a cute premise. Of course, we also get to the point where Marcelo and Ana are correcting the teacher, saying, the teacher says, "Oh, I came in feeling bueno, but now I feel así."
Right.
And then Marcelo's like, "Actually, we don't say así." That's like somebody saying, "How are you?" and you saying that.
Right.
And
we have a little of Devin hitting on a de Armas's character.
Hey,
like,
shoot your shot, man.
I think I'm in love.
I think I'm in love.
Because, God forbid. I mean, it's been almost 15 minutes, I think, since we've been reminded that she's super hot.
Yes. Don't never forget.
Right.
Ana de Armas, insanely hot.
They also, put her in a belly shirt for no real reason in this episode and have her dancing around at the end. And I'm just like, this almost feels gratuitous.
Oh,
I'm not really complaining, but this feels a little gratuitous.
Yeah. So then the sketch.
So I was of two minds about the ending of this sketch.
Yeah. So and then the sketch ends with the teacher, Mikey Day, being so overwhelmed, like, "Oh, I gotta excuse myself and go to the bathroom," and he just leaves. So then Marcelo and Ana teach the class, and then they have help. We get Karol G, our mutual guest, comes in.
Right.
Helping with them teach the class. And if you know, she's wearing a T-shirt that says Photoshop with the little no Ghostbuster symbol over it, which I think is a little note about how she feels about Photoshopping. Because I know there was a bit of controversy around that where she kind of came out against like a magazine she was featured out on GQ Mexico, where she was talking about how like she was on the cover and she was unhappy with the pictures because they don't represent her because they were heavily photoshopped.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean, it's pretty common in the magazine world to retouch the photos. You know, they take a few inches off the waist or whatever.
Yeah, but I think
smooth out the imperfections.
Yeah, but I think what she was saying is like, this doesn't look anything like me. They really went to town on me.
Right.
So, like, she's very anti.
They went overboard.
Yeah, so she's very anti-Photoshop and likes the natural look. So
okay.
Note she was saying about that.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't realize that was a big campaign for her.
Yeah. So and then it ended up with them doing the alphabet in Spanish, and then just everybody dancing and having a party.
Right.
Cute. I'll say it was cute.
Yeah. So we both thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we got another PDD sketch, the 6th PDD sketch in a row.
Wow.
These guys are on fire.
Wow.
Yes, Hangxiety.
It opens as Please Don't Destroy sketches traditionally do on SNL writing night, because apparently nothing happens to them unless it's on SNL writing night.
Nope. Their lives are very eventful otherwise.
But they're recalling the last SNL after party.
Shit got crazy.
Yeah, shit got crazy. And apparently Anna was there, because I guess the new host comes to the previous show's after party.
Does
that happen, you think?
I've never been invited
I mean,
to
if they're in town, maybe?
Maybe. I never get invited to these after parties. I don't know.
Yeah. But
it's called Hangxiety, which, of course, is a mashing of the words hangover and anxiety, because the boys are starting to have, they're starting to have those regretting feelings about what happened last night. Did I do something crazy?
Right.
The first we see Ben saying, did I do something weird last night with anybody? And they were like, no, I think you're just being anxious. And they cut to last night. And then they show Ben trying to kiss Longfellow on the mouth, which he did, and then him demanding that Longfellow take his shirt off.
Right, and then he like looks at his phone and he's got like a ton of missed calls from HR.
Yeah,
and it's like SNL HR. We need to see you right now.
Nah, it'll be fine. Then we go into them. We go back to seeing Martin and John got into a fight. At one point, John called Martin a lanky Irish hoe.
Right.
And then Martin throws a cell phone at John's face.
And gives him a black eye.
And then,
he takes off his sunglasses. He's got a black eye. He's got a shiner.
Yes.
We see Ben asking Anna if they were vibing when Anna comes in, and then we flash back to her being creeped out by him.
Yeah, I think at one point he says, "So, are your thoughts usually in Spanish or in English?"
Right.
And then
solid opener.
Yeah. Hey.
Solid. I mean,
write it down, boys. If you guys out there looking for love, write that down. The solid icebreaker. For
right. Even if the person doesn't speak Spanish, that's just a good icebreaker.
Absolutely. And of course, Ana de Armas saying, "Hey, could you not yell right in my face? It smells like you have a dead tooth."
Very specific. And I also liked we had just random other things happening. We have Chloe firing off a gun.
Yeah, just screaming. Firing a gun.
I just enjoyed that. I don't want to ruin my image of Chloe Fineman doing that at literally every SNL after party.
If I somehow get blessed enough to go to SNL after party and I don't see Chloe screaming, firing a gun off in the air, I'll be really disappointed.
I know.
Like, oh man,
you want to keep that illusion.
Yeah.
And we at the very end we have Mikey Day coming in. To the office, and he's
berating, berating everybody. Saying, "You guys acted like assholes last night. It was unprofessional."
This is still a workplace. And then he, of course, turns around, the camera pulls back. He's got no pants, and we're blurring out the chin. I so knew that they were going to do that.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. I was like, Mikey's going to be wearing no pants.
Okay. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be no pants.
Yeah, no, I totally called that. I was like, yeah, Mikey's not going to have pants, and we're going to blur out some shit.
Overall, not a bad sketch.
I enjoyed it, though.
I did.
I liked the little bits of insanity that they had for the SNL after party. It was fun.
Like the one point where they show Bowen singing "Don't You Forget About Me" on karaoke night, and then Heidi screaming at him, saying he's doing it wrong. He throws a glass at him, and then she gets on stage, and they get into a screaming fight, and then they make out.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. That was fun. And again, I like to believe that Bowen and Heidi have that sort of relationship off camera.
Yes, that's my hope. That's my dream.
Again, don't want to spoil that illusion.
Yes.
I just want to believe it.
I just let me believe what I believe.
I got that little Fox Mulder X-Files poster up. I want to believe with the little flying saucer, and then below the flying saucer are Bowen and Heidi making out.
Yes.
And Chloe just firing off weaponry in the background.
If any of our listeners can Photoshop that into an actual poster for us, we would be forever in your debt. Please.
That would be fun.
Get on that, SNL nerds.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Next up, we got our musical host, Karol G.
Our musical guest, as they are often called.
Oh, is it? I thought it was musical guest host.
No.
What? What show is this again?
They're not hosting the show.
Okay.
The person hosting the show is... Now, I hope you're sitting down for this.
Okay, I am. Let me sit.
The host.
Huh.
And then the person doing the music on the show is the musical guest.
Has it always been like this? Like, when did it start?
Yes!
Okay.
It has literally always been like this.
I'll take your word for it, but I don't know. This is the first,
1975, Darren.
This is the first I'm hearing of it, but all right.
Okay.
But yes, Karol G performs 2 numbers. Mientras me curo del cora, which according to Google Translate is while I heal my heart, and tus grafitas, which is translates to your glasses.
Okay. And the first one sampled Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's unusual. I was like, is she just going to do a Spanish language version of Don't Worry, Be Happy?
Dude,
like,
literally
if she
thought
did, I was like, I am here for it. I wouldn't mind hearing that.
I literally thought she was going to.
Yeah.
Like, is she really going to cover Don't Worry, Be Happy?
We're getting Bobby McFerrin up in this joint.
Wow, I did not see that. No worry, be happy. Oh, I took high school Spanish, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
I know enough to like roll my R's, but I don't know the words.
No, that was perfect. That was a dead on translation.
Gracias.
Yes.
But overall, I thought the performances were okay. Just you know.
I mean, there was a certain ceiling to my enjoyment just because I didn't know what she was singing about. Because I do not speak the Spanish.
Do not speak the Spanish. But yeah, overall, I thought they're both. I didn't write too much.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, fine.
I was just like, kind of wish I knew what she was singing about, but not really.
Like, you could have gotten out an app and put the phone near the app, and you could.
That seems like work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they were okay. Like, you know, inoffensive Latin pop.
Mm-hmm.
The second number, 2 Grafitas, had like they somehow got a car in there, onto Studio 88. I was like, how did they do that? Like, I mean, I guess freight elevator or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still always impressive to see them bring up a full car onto the stage. I was like, wow.
I mean, they have to have. I would assume it was just like maybe like one of those fake cars that they use for like driving sketches or something, where it's like,
oh yeah,
you know, like half a car and they put it together or something. But
yeah, maybe. I mean, they did have those 2 cars in that.
Yeah, the road rage
sketch. So yeah, maybe they did that. Oh, don't worry, be happy in Spanish. No te preocupes, sé feliz.
A little less catchy.
Yeah, no te preocupes, sé feliz.
But that do 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 do.
No te preocupes.
Do 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 do.
Sé feliz.
Do do do. I mean, that's just immortal. That knows no language.
Yeah, I didn't know the kids today were into Bobby McFerrin. Who knew?
Yeah. That was like the jam when I was in high school.
Yeah, dude. Remember they played that song a lot on the radio.
That was omnipresent in like 1988.
It was just like.
Do you remember the music video? We had like Bill Irwin and Robin Williams in there.
Yeah, so random, but I was like, how does he know?
It's in the movie Cocktail.
Yeah, I was like, how does Bobby McFerrin know Robin Williams?
I don't know.
That was weird, but I
don't know. I mean, it was cool though.
Yeah, I mean, when Chevy Chase was in the Paul Simon "You Can Call Me Al" video, that made sense because they both know Lorne.
Right.
But I was like, I guess Robin Williams hangs out with Bobby McFerrin.
I would like to think so. Yeah. I mean, hopefully someday we will have like a docuseries about this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I want a docuseries in the tradition of just off the top of my head, the Pamela and Tommy Lee series. It was all about their marriage. I want something like that, but for Robin Williams and Bobby McFerrin.
Yes, we want the unauthorized biography
Right.
of the meeting of Bobby McFerrin and Robin Williams.
Right, with hopefully as much nudity.
Yes. Tasteful.
Yeah.
Tasteful.
And let's get like Nick Offerman and Seth Rogen in there too, like they were in the Pamela and Tommy show.
Okay. I think you meant Seth Rogen as Bobby McFerrin or something.
Or cast them as Robin Williams and Bobby McFerrin.
Don't worry, be happy. That was my very terrible Seth Rogen impression.
It was very close to Rolf the dog.
Yeah, I mean, the two were interchangeable, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Kermit. Weekend update.
Weekend update. Calling just Michael Che.
Hey. Not a bad weekend update. Had some pretty solid jokes up in here.
Yeah, decent. I didn't write down too many notes.
Not too many. I like
this update. I do recall like the joke about what? Oh God, I'm going to mangle this because when Che was talking about
what?
Birth control.
Okay. Oh, right.
And they did the cutaway to him, and his picture pops up, and I love the touch that he was in the exact same suit and tie that he was wearing on Update. I thought that was very
They just
funny.
took that picture.
Yeah.
I like the joke about Che talking about the first rat czar, or as it used to be known, Miss Staten Island.
Right.
I like...
Boom,
band.
Boom, Staten Island.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. When they're not making fun of Jersey, they make fun of Staten Island. That we will applaud. I like the joke about how the two 81-year-old women traveled around the world in 80 days after the post office lost their ashes.
Yeah.
I like the joke about... there was this one joke that Colin had about how men exaggerate penis length by 20%, but aren't you supposed to add 20% for the tip?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty smart joke.
I was like, that is a very well-worded joke. I was like, okay, that's...
All right,
I
Joe.
feel a little bad for laughing at that, but I was like, no, I got to give it up.
It's a solid joke.
That's a solid joke.
I was like, good for you, Jost. Good for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you wrote that joke. I'm assuming it seems very Joestish.
He told it.
Me.
He told it, so we wrote it. That's how we judge things here.
Yeah, because every actor makes up everything they say.
Yep. That's how it works.
Yeah. We had some death segments too. We had Keenan as Funky Kong.
Yeah.
Who apparently some people are upset that the character of Funky Kong does not show up in the recent Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, apparently this is like one of those really obscure kind of Donkey Kong kind of spin-off characters.
Right.
Because like they had Donkey Kong.
Did he have his own game?
I don't know anything about Funky Kong. This is like I consider myself a big, 80s video game nerd.
Right.
And like of course I know about Donkey Kong and little baby Kong or whoever, but
right.
I've never even heard of Funky Kong until And like I guess people are bummed out that this super obscure Donkey Kong knockoff isn't in the Super Mario Brothers movie, except he's in it for like a second.
Yeah, you see him in the background. They had a little screen cap with him circled.
Yeah, but so that's the premise of it, and we have Keenan coming out as Funky Kong,
who coincidentally enough sounds exactly like Kenan Thompson.
Yep.
Very unexpected twist.
Yep. Just yeah.
What can you do at this point except just throw up your hands and just
just whatever.
What are you even doing, man?
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, this is like one of those death segments that pretty much gets off on Keenan's charm and like how charming you find Keenan or not, because it's he talks about like all the other Kongs out there, like Monkey Kong, or like who's Monkey Kong? Oh, he's a donkey,
right?
Talking about banging on booty cheeks,
and he occasionally gets up and does his little victory dance thing in his cutoff T-shirt and his cutoff shorts. And,
like didn't he did that before? And then Weekend Update death segment where like the French comedian, something like that, like Zoutala.
No, it's basically a variation of things that Keenan has done on the Update desk before, and
of course him saying things about Princess Peach and like, hey, why don't you open up that peach? Let me see what's up. So a lot of crude sexual innuendos.
Yes.
I will admit I did chuckle at the last line where he talks about people going to eat this up. Have you ever had monkey meat? And Joe says, no, I haven't. And he says, well, that's not what your mama said last night. Oh, right. Monkey meat.
I thought the costuming was impressive. I liked his little ape gloves. They gave him his little his ape fingers.
Yeah, and his like Kumo D sunglasses or the Randy Macho Man.
I mean, I thought it looked cool. It didn't really tickle my funny bone.
No, I'll go with that. Like, I laughed at the your mama joke because I always laugh at your mama jokes.
Sure,
Sean Connery, Jeopardy, all over again.
Right.
But I will admit this is one of those things where if you really like Keenan and enjoy,
it lives or dies on how much you like Keenan.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So I thought this was all right, but it didn't wow me.
Yeah. Not wowed over here.
Not wowed.
This is my not wowed face.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And then next up we had Sarah Sherman coming out as Genesis Fry.
Yeah. Meditation guru.
guru.
Genesis Fry, talking about mental health, and she gives Colin a free counseling.
Yes, and she wants to do a medication to get into the center of Colin Jost's mind. Mm-hmm. And it just becomes a segment of just roasting on Jost.
Yep.
As Sarah Sherman is wont to do.
I mean, that's all we really want.
Yeah, of course, it's her feeling on his arms and being like, oh, softer than I imagined. Mm-hmm. And him feeling on his hand saying, oh, wow, really soft. You really haven't done an honest day's work in your life, have you?
Right, right.
Just a lot of, almost Don Rickles-esque. Just singers over here.
I mean, I liked how she gives an insightful quote, and he's like, "Oh, I really like that," and and he repeats the quote, and she's like, "Oh, well, hey, joke's on you. That's a quote from Hitler." And then they put the quote up on screen, and it says Hitler / Colin Jost.
Yeah. There was also another line in there where he's like, "Oh, let's go deeper into your mind. Just after the show, you're still fuming about the bilingual monologue."
Right.
And he was like, "I wouldn't be angry about that."
Yeah, and talked about how after the show, when he's exiting 30 Rock, he's upset because other cast members are getting asked for autographs and he's not.
Yes, no one takes a picture of him.
Yeah,
he gets in the car, but with his driver, who he sees as beneath him, as almost a subhuman creature.
Right.
And then just that's not true. And he's like, well, what's his name? And he's like, look, that's not important.
Right.
But then they came back to that later.
Right.
When they were saying, oh, Colin Jost, no one loves you. No, the only person that cares about you is Antonio. And he's like, who's Antonio? He's like, he's your driver, Colin. I did all right.
Yeah, that was
a nice way to bring it back.
I mean, Sarah making fun of Colin Jost, that is usually very, very solid. This, by the way, written by Dan Bula, Martin Herlihy, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, and, of course, Sarah Sherman.
I got a kick out of this. I thought this was pretty solid.
I think this was the highlight for me of the 3 death segments that they did on Update.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so.
This was the most solid and the most funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a 3rd death segment. We finally get the thing that I've been talking about for a while. We get Molly Carney. Damn it.
Yeah.
Molly Carney on the anti-LGBTQ bills that have been passed in the United States.
Yes.
I've been saying for the longest that Molly needs their own little death segment. I caught myself.
No, yeah, I heard you. Molly needs their.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been saying that they've been needing their own death segment for the longest. Like Devin got his. Longfellow got his. Yeah, Marcelo, Longfellow, they've all gotten theirs. So,
right.
18 episodes in, we're finally getting Molly's death segment.
Right.
And, this is really...
talking about an issue that, obviously, I think personally important to them.
Yeah, they've done this before, when Cecily talked about the abortion laws that were happening with Goober the Clown. Bowen came on to talk about the... all the anti-Asian hate crimes that were happening at an accelerated rate. So, now we have Molly to talk about all these, pretty terrible anti-LGBTQ laws that are just going around.
Yeah, which is,
But
it's tough to find an en route to funny with an issue like this. And the course they took, they just sort of added in absurdity that didn't really have anything to do with the issue, I thought.
Yeah, because they had Molly come in on a harness,
right.
and they had her lowered in, lowered down.
Lowered in.
What? Damn it!
The pronouns will kill you, man.
Oh!
It's tough.
I was so close.
We're trying. Yeah,
we're trying.
We lapse.
Yes.
You just instinctively lapse into
right. We're trying, man.
Pronouns. It's a tough adjustment to make.
Yeah. So they had Molly lowered in on a harness. You see there, sneakers dangling down, and then it's basically Molly sort of comparing what's going on with these new laws to her. Damn it!
I've gotten you so self-conscious now, and I feel bad about this now.
It's like playing a game of Operation. Like, I'm really trying not to hit the sides. You see Molly talking about how being in a harness is
painful.
Much like
on their genitalia. Yeah, on
much
their crotch.
like the laws are.
Right. Yeah, I think that was the tie-in. It seemed like kind of a reach, honestly.
Little bit, yeah.
I mean, and it was a weird segment because we had Molly talking about how they always wanted to, be dangled in, drop down from the ceiling. But then it got very serious, talking about the anti-LGBTQ laws. Yeah. And that just seemed very serious. It seemed like just a straight up editorial.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went back to Molly talking about how painful the harness was.
Yeah, I think that, I mean,
and talking about how some people in the crew were getting their pronouns wrong.
Yeah, they did have some really good lines in here. Like when they said, what was it, that line talking about how they're having these laws against anti-LGBTQ laws against trans kids,
right? And if you're anti-trans kids, you're just anti-kids.
Yeah, it's like people concentrate more on the trans part and don't concentrate on the kids part. Like,
right,
these laws are against children.
And if you are against children, you are just pretty much by definition a bad person.
Yes, that's
yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. There's nothing
that boils it down really well.
Yeah, it's a very true statement. But yeah, I will admit, like the tone of going from deadly serious to silly goofy, it's very sudden.
I didn't feel like they quite threaded the needle on this, I suppose. Yeah. I suppose that would be the best way to put it.
I'll agree with that.
I mean, it certainly wasn't as successful as Goober the Clown, where we had the absurdity very nicely carrying all the way through that.
Yeah.
And yet we still got the sense of how serious an issue it was for Cecily personally and women in general. And,
right.
And, people with empathy.
People with the heart.
People who don't have that lump of coal there in their chest cavity.
Exactly. But like with that, like it seemed like the message and the silliness were kind of hand in hand. It was like
they were much more intertwined.
Yeah, with this one, there were definitely a lot more stark differences. It was like shifting into two different gears.
We were going back and forth a lot. Yeah, and it didn't quite work for me on that basis. So
like we definitely agree with the message here. Trans rights are very important.
Yeah,
but like this one, I couldn't quite get on board, but I get on board with the message.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciated what they were saying, if not appreciating like how they were saying it comedically, I guess.
Yeah. I'll say that.
So,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But overall, not a bad weekend update.
Decent. They done better, but it was fine.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the second half because I feel.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong?
Let's get to the second half.
I don't think I'm wrong here. The second half was. I'll put the.
Okay, show us on the doll where the second half hurt you, Darren.
All right, let's get into it.
Wow.
I feel like we got to be on the same page, right?
Okay. I mean, first we have Lisa from Temecula making her return, And I personally don't know if I was really clamoring to see Lisa from Temecula again. I would have been fine with that just being a one-off, but I guess Ego really wants a recurring character, so we're seeing Lisa from Temecula again.
Yes, and they're at a wedding, and it is, I mean, the first time we saw this was on the Pedro Pascal episode, which wasn't that long ago.
No.
So for them to bring this back it feels like they brought this back a little too sudden.
It seems soon, right?
Yeah,
it seems soon, and it's very much a repeat of what we saw before. You know, still being fussy about her food. This time she's working on a salad instead of a steak.
Yeah, it's even the same people at the table with them. It's with Bowen, Molly,
right?
You know, Punky, of course, her sister,
right?
Longfellow again, the waiter, bringing in the salad.
I hadn't noticed that it was all the exact same people except for the host.
It's the exact same people.
We even had the host breaking a bed again.
Again, yeah. And instead of
I hadn't thought of it like that.
It's the same shit.
But no, I mean, but in this one she mispronounces salmon, so completely different thing.
She says salmon.
Yeah, she really hits that L. I mean, but she's shaking the table again. We've got Ana de Armas breaking a bit.
Yeah, them tossing the salad, the table rocking.
Not like that, pervs.
Yeah,
come on,
mind out the gutter. This ain't Cinemax.
Yeah,
talking the salad. Her being upset that there's no ranch dressing.
Right,
they only have balsamic.
Yeah,
of course.
Again, hitting that L really hard.
Balsamic.
Yeah,
that's absolutely. And it's just.
and Punky kind of making excuses for her sister, and
and
I mean, the first one didn't really tickle me that much. This one probably even less so because I knew the gag going in.
Yeah, I think this kind of reminded me of
the first Lisa from Temecula.
Yes,
sketch?
the first Lisa. Oh, yeah, of course. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, I see parallels.
Yeah, again, it's the same. Like even the same thing where Anna is talking to Lisa, and Lisa's like. Taking her, talking to her as like her trying to hit on her,
right?
And it's like, oh, hey, my box is closed tonight, like,
right?
Like, oh, like sis, tell your lesbian friend not to stop trying to get the box tonight,
right?
It's the same thing, and of course, even it's the same part where Heidi and Mikey come in as the bride and groom at the wedding, saying, hey, you guys have to calm down, you're ruining our wedding, and then Lisa
this really was just a search and replace.
It really was copy and paste. And then like them saying, "Hey, you're ruining our wedding," and then Lisa saying, "Oh, why? Because we're gay?" Which, of course, is the term a spin on the first time they said it was like, "Oh, because we're black."
Right.
And it's like, this is the exact same thing. It felt like you remember how when you saw the first Matt Foley sketch, how much of a home run that was, and then every other Matt Foley
or the first Debbie Downer sketch,
yes.
and then they tried to revisit that, but you can't really.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Lisa from Temecula reached the heights of Debbie Downer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the first time it worked was, mainly because the breaking, and mainly because it just really felt like a very spontaneous improv sketch, and it's like them trying to recreate the spontaneity of that second sketch, and it's just not hitting because you can't recreate spontaneity.
I mean, I was just like watching that, and I was like, oh well, I guess we gotta wait until they spill the tea again, literally spill the tea.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I think at this one, like the picture of water or juice.
Yeah, you're just waiting for the pitcher of a punch to spill over, and then waiting for the salad dressing to go over, and I'm like, then the salad spreads all over the table, and
even the audience, I didn't hear too many big laughs out of this one.
No, it seemed sort of like a lukewarm reception. Honestly, I'd much rather see Ego revisit the Dionne Warwick. Dionne Warwick. I don't know why I wanted to say Dionne Williams.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Some kid I went to school with.
Dionne Williams. It's just a dude who lives next door to me.
He's a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah. Dionne's hey, Dionne.
Hey, what's up, man? Shout out to Dionne Williams.
Can we make Dionne Williams a recurring character? What did you think of the sketch, Dionne?
I thought it was all right. It was a little wide for me. I don't know. I'm over in Living Color Man myself.
I don't know why that tickles me so much.
I don't know. It just came to me.
I just want to know Dionne Williams' opinions on everything now. I much rather would have seen like the Dionne Warwick talk show again.
Yeah, that would have been...
I think there was more life in that than Lisa from Temecula.
I think, but like, if I remember the last time they brought in the actual Dionne Warwick, and they usually bring in...
that's kind of the capper.
Yeah.
That's like the natural life of the...
Yeah, so
I
mean, I genuinely
we're doing
don't
the
know if
impression against... Yeah.
I genuinely don't know if they're going to bring her back.
That's
again.
probably around its course, you're right.
Yeah, but...
What do you think, Dionne Williams?
I thought it was all right. Ego's fine on the motherfucker, so that was cool. But, them spilling all the water and shit, like, what the fuck is up with that, man?
Right.
That ain't right.
Thanks, Dionne.
No problem, man. Catch you on the flip side.
Okay.
Bye, Dionne.
Bye, Dionne. Thanks for stopping by.
Next up. The fuck was that? Next up.
Dog acting school commercial is what this was called. This was... I do like the name of the dog acting school. Enter Stage Woof. That's some funny shit right there.
Oh, also, we should have mentioned the Lisa from Temecula sketch, written by Michael Che, Alex English, and Gary Richardson. Dog acting school commercial. This one's written by Chloe Feynman, Allison Gates, Jake Nordwind, and Kent Sublette.
So I like the name Enter Stage Wolf. I like the name of Chloe's character, Donna Colonoscopini.
Yes.
Which I didn't notice until I watched it again. I was like, okay, that's funny.
So it's basically them. It's Ana de Armas and Chloe Feynman.
Right.
They're doing a commercial for a dog acting school.
Right.
Like, bring your dog here. We can teach your dog to be in the movies. And it's them using real dogs, a la Cecily Strong.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've made my feelings known in the past. I am a sucker for whenever SNL brings real dogs onto the show, because doggies.
Yes.
I like seeing doggies. I like seeing SNL cast members play with doggies. I prefer to see Cecily Strong with doggies, but I will also see other SNL cast members play with doggies.
Yes.
I like seeing dogs with fake human hands.
Yes.
I think that is fun.
I like the dogs in the boat. I like the dogs on a moat.
Right.
I like dogs here and there. I like doggies everywhere.
Exactly. You get it.
I get it.
You get it.
Get it.
So we have them pitching their service, their acting services. They're training dogs to be in movies and TV shows and commercials, and they bring out a golden retriever named Henry, and they talk about his big photogenic nuts.
Yeah, but I think at one point, as soon as they bring out the dog is like kind of trying to sniff something behind the counter.
There was some talk about this on the YouTube, and apparently they were storing the spaghetti from later on in the sketch under, and I think Henry got a whiff of the spaghetti, and he was trying to get at the spaghetti, and they were like, "Oh no!" And we see, like, I think Chloe kind of moved the plate out of the way.
Yeah, Chloe was like, "Oh no! Oh, he's misbehaving."
Right.
Yeah.
But they later have, like, they get him to turn in the direction of the camera, and he is staring dead at the camera.
Yeah,
and Henry, this golden retriever, has a perfect deadpan expression.
It's pretty good.
I mean, like, Buster Keaton would be like, "Holy shit, okay, I doff my crown. You are now the new king of deadpan, Henry the golden retriever." And at one point they're like, "Okay, well, show us your surprise look," and we have some artificial dog arms coming up and covering his eyes. And I got to say, the arms over his face were perfect.
They were pretty good.
Even when they cut to another angle and we see the arms being lowered off his face, we don't even see anybody carrying the arms. The cutoff is perfect.
Right.
So I just have to admire that on a technical level.
Yeah. I also liked how they brought out a pug, saying that the pug will go full nude.
Yes, and that was Coco, by the way.
That was Coco, yes. And then they show, of course, all the pug nipples.
Yeah, they were like, "Look at these nips."
Yeah, but, I mean, of course, the coup de grace.
Not as impressive as Mikey Day's nips from earlier in the episode.
But what is?
Yeah.
What is?
I'm assuming we saw a couple of Mikey's real nipples, or were they all fake nipples? I don't know.
2 of those had to be real, right?
I mean, I can't remember if he pulled his shirt up high enough for us to see his real nipples.
I feel... we'll have to go back.
We'll have to go back and rewatch that sketch.
I'm sure
the people need to know.
People need to. I mean, he's gone shirtless before, like in that Waffle House sketch. So he's not
true. He's not shy about showing off the nipples.
He'll show them nips.
He'll show the goods.
Oh, he'll do it.
Yeah.
So some of those. That's a fun game you guys can play, listeners. Try to figure out which nipples were Mikey's nipples. Right. We're taking bits. But I mean, the coup de grace of the sketch, of course, when they brought in another dog,
Romeo.
Wow, you really love these. You know all their names.
I wrote down the names of the dogs in this sketch, yes, or at least most of the dogs.
Wow.
And I just want to say that every single dog in this sketch, very, very good dog.
Okay, good dog.
Yeah.
But yes,
especially Henry and Romeo.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. This is taking me aback here.
I love dogs.
Yeah, all right. No, dogs are great. Dogs are great. So they bring up Romeo, and then they say, we've trained this dog to recreate the Lady and the Tramp scene,
right,
where they eat spaghetti.
Yeah, because Romeo's working for Disney.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
that's where the big bucks are.
Right.
And then we see Chloe. Jesus,
force of habit.
We see Chloe pull out a plate of spaghetti, puts a bunch of the
shovels
spaghetti.
A big thing, a big glob of spaghetti into her mouth,
and wants the dog to eat the other end.
Right.
And the dog just will not have any of it. The dog
could not be less interested in the spaghetti.
Yeah,
they really should have gotten Henry to do this bit.
Exactly,
but it is hilarious.
Yes, to see Chloe chase a dog around with a mouthful of spaghetti,
with a big glob of spaghetti dangling out of her mouth. And God bless you, Chloe Fineman. She is being such a trooper. She is like trying to control this dog on the leash. She's got a big thing of spaghetti. She's holding it in her mouth. She's starting to break.
Yeah.
The dog starts trying to wander off stage.
The dog wants to leave.
She is trying to wrangle this dog and try to desperately get the dog to do the Lady and the Tramp thing.
And then I think the dog just gets away from her, just goes off stage.
And she still has the spaghetti in her mouth the entire time, which is just
live television.
Hilarious! I love this sketch just for that, and I could watch the GIF of that over and over.
It's
put that on a loop, and yes.
It's pretty silly.
I mean, and then Chloe had my heart in that moment. Yeah,
you like dogs. It's puppies.
I like dogs. I like the Chloe Fineman. I like spaghetti. It's a triple play.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this sketch, I thought it was. I feel like it's fun.
I will not hear you bash this sketch, sir.
I'm not going to bash it. I'm just going to say it seems like most of the charm of it came from
it
the
going
dogs
horribly awry.
Yes, it going horribly awry.
Right.
Because there were jokes in there where Chloe delivers them, where they had that one dog showing off their accent skills, and there's say something in French, dog, and the dog goes le wolf.
Yeah.
And then Chloe said, he says le wolf. I think that means the bark.
Right.
Nobody laughed in the audience. There were
it wasn't. That wasn't great.
There are a couple of clunkers in there.
Yeah,
but I think the only thing that got laughs in that sketch were the dogs being dogs and not going along with the sketch at all.
And we should mention that towards the end they brought out a little puppy, Jelly Bean.
Yes,
who just got a part as an alien that destroys the city of Seattle, and so they have this little model of Seattle, and they're trying to get Jelly Bean to walk from one end of this board to the other and knock over some of the buildings.
Right.
Jelly Bean wants no part of this.
None of the dogs are cooperating.
Petrified and just standing in place.
That little, that pup, I mean, it's an adorable puppy. You heard the audience go, oh.
Yeah, 100%.
And that puppy was
and Chloe, again, just doing the Lord's work trying to save the sketch. She, knocks over the Space Needle so... And we hear, little screaming people. I mean, it's too bad that the dog couldn't knock over the buildings because I'm sure that would have been hilarious in its own way. But this was hilarious.
Yeah,
and come on, how did your heart not melt when Ana de Armas picks up Jelly Bean and gives Jelly Bean a kiss and was like, "Oh, good dog."
Yeah,
I mean, that was so sweet.
Puppies are adorable. But this sketch, this sketch feels like something that Kate and Adie might have done back in the day, or even Kate and Cecily.
Yeah,
it has very Kate.
I mean, they would have done Cats, but
yeah. Oh yeah, whiskers are we? Of course.
Yeah, I mean, because Kate's a cat person.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, this sketch, I don't know. It felt like, I don't want to say I didn't hate it, but it definitely wasn't that strong. But I do like dogs.
Yeah.
I am not. You will never hear me badmouth dogs.
I am an easy mark for a dog sketch. I make no bones about this.
Okay.
If I made any bones about this, I would share those bones with the dogs in the SNL sketches.
Bones. I see what you did
because,
there.
I like dogs. I like dogs to be happy.
The dogs were cute.
I want to just go play with puppies now.
Let's just do that, man.
Let's just go to the pet store in the mall and just play with puppies.
Fuck this podcast. Let's just go play with dogs. Let's just go. Petland discounts. It's right down the street.
Let's go. Let's go play with puppies.
Let's go to Petco. Yeah, let's do it.
Should we get a dog together? Is our relationship ready for that?
I think we're there.
Finally, in 10 to 1 land, we had Nail Salon.
Yeah, what a bizarre sketch. I mean, this is perfect 10 to 1 territory.
Yeah. I mean, this is the weirdness you want in the last slot of the night. Well, maybe not exactly the weirdness you want, but weirdness akin to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't. Did you want to try to explain the sketch?
I'll give it a shot. We've got Ana de Armas, our host for the week, and Bowen Yang. They're in a nail salon together, and we think at first that it's just a woman has dragged her boyfriend over to the nail salon to try and persuade him to get his nails done and nail polish and all that. And we think like, oh, he's reluctant because he's got hang-ups. But then we have the reveal that no, he's just won the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's longest fingernails, and he's like not cut his fingernails for literally 12 years. So Bowen Yang has got these fake hands on or fake gloves on that with these monstrously long fingernails that are coming out like several feet and curling in on themselves, and
they're pretty gnarly looking.
They are.
Yeah. So and of course, so then we see that Bowen and Anna get into a fight because these fingernails have come between them and their relationship.
Yes.
And her saying, like, you need to cut these fingernails. Like, you promised me as soon as you got the record, you would cut them. You would learn to play Wonderwall on the guitar and do hand stuff to me.
Right. And she has apparently been wiping him for 12 years.
Yes. Because, like, the last time he tried to wipe himself, he nearly died.
Right. And thankfully, mercifully, we do not get more details on that. It's up to our imaginations.
Right.
And
I imagine it's like an Edward Scissorhands type of situation with that.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. How does he wipe?
Yeah, that's probably why Edward Scissorhands was so sad.
Yeah, because he can't wipe. Oh.
Yeah. That would make me sad.
His pants smell all poopy. And so at one,
Bowen gets upset and he runs away, and he's in the woods. And this is a little weird. Like, this is a bit I didn't realize at all until you pointed it out to me. It's like a Twilight reference.
Well, yeah, because so once they get into a fight, they start screaming at each other, and he's saying, "This was a mistake. We were a mistake. I never should have moved to Seattle, and I never should have married you." Right. And when he said that, I thought that was a weird line. It's like, why would he say Seattle? That makes no sense. So then he storms out of the nail salon, runs away dramatically, and then he's just like running through the forest, and then he's stopped by Chloe, who is wearing like an army jacket and has long brown hair, and then they recreate the scene from Twilight, and then that was like, oh, okay, that's why he said Seattle,
like where he, like, she realizes that the guy's a vampire, right?
Yeah, like, I know what you are, say it, vampire, like, yeah. So it's them recreating that, saying, I know what you are.
That went totally over my head. So when you were explaining to me off mic, it was like, oh yeah, that was a Twilight reference. I was like, what, really? And I had to rewatch the sketch, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of see it.
Yeah, no, it was totally they were going for Twilight. Right. I can understand how, because it is like it isn't like a super famous scene, I don't think, but it is a notable scene in the Twilight series.
It went over my head because I've just never watched any of the Twilight movies because I was like in my 30s when those things came out.
You're a grown ass man. You can't be going to see Twilight by yourself.
No. I had like I was still working in Barnes and Noble when I think the last of those books came out, and it was like that was literally the first time I'd ever heard of those books.
Yeah. Oh god.
Because again, not the target audience.
Yeah. But God, those books were just everywhere for a while. It was insane.
Yeah, they were omnipresent, and the movies were a big deal too. And weirdly, like I know that the 50 Shades of Grey books started out as Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like I know people who read those books who like those books, but even they admit the book is not well written. They're like,
the Twilight books or the 50 Shades? Both.
Maybe not Twilight, but definitely 50 Shades. They're like, yeah, these books aren't really well written. They're structured kind of weird, and the dialogue is clunky. But I think it's just the emotion and the titillation of it is what captures you and draws you in.
Right.
But yeah, those movies. I have seen the 50 Shades of Grey movies because someone I love very much likes those books, and those movies are. Ooh.
I did once watch a YouTube video of Robert Pattinson, and somebody had put together like a compilation of moments in interviews where he just sort of like let it slip or hinted at how much he hated being in the Twilight movies.
I mean, I get it because if you watch, if you watch those movies, his acting is kind of not great, and I think it's one of
I read that I think he only auditioned for the first one because he liked Kristen Stewart and wanted to hit on her. And then he ends up in these movies for however many years it was.
Nice.
And at the end of this interview, it was like, I think the interviewer was playing word association with him or something. And they were like, well, what do you think of whatever the last one was? Breaking Dawn? Is that right?
Sure. Let's say
okay. I'm not going to like double check this on the Twilight wiki or anything. And I know there's a Twilight wiki out there. I don't have to check.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. Okay. And they were like, well, what do you think when you think of Twilight? And he just went, done, and like started laughing hysterically. And it was so obvious.
I could see that. I think because like after those movies came out, he was just kind of known as a Twilight sparkly vampire guy. Like even when he came out with he got the role for the Batman, people were like, oh, him, the sparkly vampire guy? Ugh. Like I think he got a lot of that throughout his like career after the movies, where people didn't really take him seriously because they just saw him as like the teen flick dude. And
and I can see how that would grate on you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I didn't get the Twilight reference in this sketch at all.
Yeah, I don't think a few people did. I think unless you like a younger, Gen Z or whatever, you probably did.
Yeah, I think if you're like in Bowen or Chloe's age range, you probably saw those movies at some point, and you would have gotten that. But us, we are grown ass men in our 40s and 50s, and
that's right. We got responsibilities, baby. We got bills to pay.
So,
so then Bowen runs back to then they cut back to the nail salon, and Bowen comes back and he has clipped his nails because Chloe bumped into his nails and they broke, and now he looks like a freak. So he can't look freakish like that. So he cut his nails, and then they reconcile. He reconciles with his wife, and then he says, all right, now we could do hand stuff and you can wipe my butt. And then the sketch kind of ends weird.
It's an odd sketch.
Such a weird sketch. I don't know. Bowen seems to be carving himself this weird lane of these really bizarre sketches, like Garrett from Hinge, from the Travis Kelce episode, Midwives from the Quinta Brunson episode, and now this. It's just like a lot of really oddball, like swinging for the fences, just sketches that kind of leave me more perplexed than humored.
I don't mind him going for oddball stuff. I'm just saying that this particular oddball thing, it didn't work for me in a big way. But
yeah, I'd agree. It just, I don't know. It just seemed too kind of all over the place, and just like I was just at the end of it, I was just like, what?
Yeah, but I mean, I'd rather him trying something different than doing like yet another game show sketch or something like that.
Yeah. I'll always applaud anybody who like goes for like a big swing and like really tries to do something different.
Right.
But this was like, I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, odd end to the episode.
Yeah. Oh, this sketch was written by Ben Silva, Asha Ward, Bowen Yang, and Celeste Yim.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, overall, what'd you think of this episode? I thought it was. I think it was definitely a step up from the Molly Shannon episode.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with that. Let me look at the Molly Shannon sketches.
I mean, because this at least none of the sketches from the Molly Shannon episode rose above okay for me, and this one had at least a couple that had a few laughs for me. Like I liked the Please Don't Destroy thing.
Yeah.
I thought the dog acting school commercial. I mean, I think that was fun just because of all the on-camera screw-ups we had.
Right. I'm surprised. I thought you would have been more down on that, but then I thought, oh wait, no, it has dogs in it, so it's...
I'm an easy mark for dogs. I mean, yeah.
If your sketch has a dog in it, you're starting at an 8, right?
I am halfway there. Yes. I am starting at an 8. I am halfway there. I am also very bad at math.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I mean, come on, it's Chloe with a mouthful of spaghetti and a dog desperately trying to get away from her. I'm not made of stone, people.
I know. Hey, that's some people's search history.
I'm not going to go that far, but I'm just saying I found it humorous.
Yeah, no, but I agree with what you're saying. I think it was better than the Molly. I'm looking at the Molly Shannon sketches right now. Like, oh yeah, the drug commercial and pregnant co-worker wasn't great.
Yeah, it was just a mediocre show in general. I thought this was a bit of a step up, but I still don't feel like it was a great episode.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think the first half was way stronger than the second half. I mean, with Lisa from Temecula, it's too soon to bring her back again.
We didn't really need another one of those.
Yeah. But yeah, the first half I thought was pretty okay. I liked the Weekend Update quite a bit. I really liked the Sarah Sherman Genesis Fry. I think that was really fantastic.
I mean, that was a highlight of the episode, and we got to see Mikey Day with fake nipples, so it's not a total loss.
No, we all won. We're all winners.
Yeah. Did our new friend Dion Williams like this episode?
Oh, that's cool, man. I thought it was all right. It was like things were happening and things were going on. Please don't destroy my man doing coke in the bathroom. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
All right. Well, thank you, Dion. It's always good to hear a third opinion.
Hey, no problem, man. I'll see you back at home, all right? You stay fly.
All right. You take care, Dion.
Bye, Dion.
And, we also got a little news about the next episode of SNL. Their next episode is scheduled for May the 6th, and we've got a cast member returning to host.
Yeah, this kind of surprised me because I saw this like a week ago. Like Page 6 said it, and then I thought, that's like, I was like, no, that can't be right. And then other news outlets reported on it. I was like, that what? And then SNL made it official. As long as we don't get a writer's strike, barring a writer's strike, May 6th, folks, we're getting Pete Davidson with musical guest Little Uzi Vert.
Little Uzi Vert. I'm not familiar with Little Uzi Vert.
I know he's a rapper. He's, I guess like kind of a mumble rapper type of dude. I don't know much about him either. But
oh, joy. Mumbling. Oh, great. We're going to get mumbling.
Yeah.
Right now.
I'm in a woo. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, mumbling and Pete Davidson. This is going to be a 5-star episode.
Woo. Yeah.
But yeah, Pete Davidson's coming back. This doesn't make sense to me.
Does he know he has to be in the studio for the entire show?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why this doesn't make sense. Because, look, we all remember his last year on the show because it was last year. We all...
And he had one foot out the door for most of that season.
Yeah, it seemed like he just didn't want to be there. It seemed like he was over it. It seemed he was going to be headed on the greater, greener pastures. So, like, when
didn't you say to me there were even like a few weeks where he was like literally in town in New York City and he still didn't show up on the show?
Yeah, there was one time I swear he was at some like fashion gala or some shit, and it was the same week that SNL had a show. But he was like there, chumming it up with the elite on like a Thursday night, and people were like, "Hey, shouldn't he be rehearsing for shit?" Like what? Like so
odd.
Yeah. So it's just when he left, we were like, "All right, cool." So he's gone off to do bigger and better things, or arrivederci. And less than a year later, he's coming back to host the motherfucker.
And it seems weird to me because it's like if I was expecting a recent departure to come back and host the show not long after they left, I would have put money down on Kate McKinnon or Cecily Strong before Pete Davidson. Also because Pete Davidson just recently in the news was talking about how he had some problems with SNL, like talking about his personal life on the show.
Yeah, I swear he has a love-hate relationship with the show. Like, I think he appreciates Lorne. And he likes some of the people, he likes Che and Jost and stuff. But like, I feel like there's this other side of the show that he just really does not like, or maybe there's people on the show he doesn't like. I don't know. But yeah, it is weird how it's less than a year, and he's like, he's just going to come back and host a thing. I mean, the only thing I could think of the only reason he wants to host is to maybe promote his new Peacock show, Bupkis, which is airing that week. I
mean that's got to be the main reason. And
yeah. But
what is Bupkis exactly? It's like a Louis C.K. type show.
It seems like it's like a fictionalized version of his life where he's kind of, it seems like King of Staten Island, but not quite. It seems like he's making fun of himself and like his celebrity status and how everybody's talking about him in the news and whatnot, and how his relationship with his family. Edie Falco plays his mom. They got Joe Pesci out of retirement to be in this thing, who plays his uncle.
Freaky.
It is freaky. And then we'll do the trailer up. You can go see it. But there's like
I'll have to look at the trailer. Yeah,
there's a ton of cameos in that trailer. I think, of course, Machine Gun Kelly, his buddy, Ray Romano pops up. Jon Stewart pops up. Simon Rex pops up. John Mulaney is in an episode.
Yeah, he's tight with Mulaney, I believe. So.
Yeah. Al Gore.
Mulaney's got a new special coming up too.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see Mulaney host like the season finale or something.
He just might. I know his Netflix special comes out April 25th.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, Al Gore is in this show with
what?
Al Gore. There's like one scene I think where he does he goes to like some charity benefit, and Al Gore is there speaking, and he has a scene with Al Gore.
How weird.
Very weird. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. I saw this trailer. It made me think of somebody. I forget who tweeted this, but somebody said, at this point, I would really like to know less about Pete Davidson's life.
I'm kind of the same way. Like when he left the show, I was like, great. I don't ever have to be conscious of who he is dating ever again. Because he dated Ariana. He was engaged to Ariana Grande. I know he dated Kate Beckinsale. He dated Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And that's like about 3 more people that I ever needed to know. I feel like those brain cells could be going to a better use.
Yeah, probably not.
yeah, you're right. This is me we're talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much the show. It's just like him talking, how he knows, everybody's talking about all the people I date. Everybody's talking about my big dick. Everybody's talking about... There's one scene where he's making fun of that picture of him on Wikipedia. That same picture that we made fun of on this podcast. Where
he's very squinty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it looks like a bad passport photo.
Yeah.
Is it still his profile picture?
Last time I checked, it was, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do our annual check at the end of the season of everyone's Wikipedia pictures, and we'll see if that is still his picture.
Right. So stay tuned, guys.
I would love it if he played a segment from this podcast of us complaining about his Wikipedia picture. I think that would be awesome.
Oh, who would he get to play us? Oh, I thought a lot about this. I think I would like Sam Richardson to play me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I think that tracks.
Yeah. I think that
tracks.
I think he has my essence.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who should play me. I mean, should we have people from SNL play us?
Ooh, that's a good twist. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Well,
could I have Devin play me?
Who? What?
Could I have Devin play me?
I'm gonna have to run it by the other black people.
Okay.
But I'll get back to you. I'll let you know.
All right. I mean, first choice Devin. If not him, then Mikey Day or Alex Moffat.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Keenan. It'll probably be Keenan for me. What else is it gonna be? Really? Like realistically, who?
I'm Darren Patterson. Because you would sound exactly like Keenan if Keenan was playing you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Welcome to SNL Nerds. That sounded like Eartha Kitt. That didn't even sound good.
But there is some crossover there between Keenan and Eartha Kitt. I never realized that until that moment. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, are we looking forward to Pete Davidson hosting? It doesn't really sound like it, does it?
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't been gone long enough for me to miss him.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too.
Yeah, and I wasn't. He kind of felt like he was done with the show his last couple of years on the show. So, and also what is he going to do when he comes back? He doesn't have that many characters to revisit. I don't want to see fucking Chad again.
No one wants Chad. I really think everybody's sick of Chad. Like I can't imagine there's someone clamoring to see Chad again.
Yeah,
it's I think for me he's right up there with the Californians. I don't want to see either one of those characters ever again.
Well, I mean, yeah. How can I've said this before, but how can you be that fond of a character whose main trait is indifference?
Right? I still don't get Chad.
Neither do I.
Boggles my mind. They did it so many times as they did.
Yeah, that would just depress me. But hey, maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised, right?
I won't hold my breath.
Yeah, or it'll be a thing that we have to tolerate and go through. And
but if he does surprise us, if he does pull out this amazing episode, I will be the first to say it. I'll be like, you know what? Yes. Credit where credit's due. This shit rocked.
Yeah. And if we don't like it, we'll have fun ripping it apart on the podcast.
Hooray!
Yay! It's a win-win.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, May 6th, Pete Davidson and Little Uzi Vert. It should be something.
Should be something. Is it going to be something we enjoy? We don't know.
We're just saying it's going to be something.
Maybe not. So let's see what people thought of this episode.
Yeah, I looked around and people overall were not digging this episode.
Okay.
From what I saw,
right,
Mikey, I'll say one. Mikey with 2 E's saying, "Well, ... I enjoyed update ... The rest, except the PDD thing, which was just okay, was just flat out bad.
Boom!
It's like they found my YouTube playlist called SNL Sketches I Do Not Want to See Again, and then remade worst versions of them."
That's... If they actually did that, that's epic. That's very funny. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought it was decent. I wouldn't go much beyond that. Let's see. Our friend Manette Morani says, "What a horrible back half. However, Lisa from Temecula was a bit better for me this time, and you lanky Irish hoe is my new go-to insult."
Yeah. It works if the person is Irish or not.
Sure.
Or lanky or not. It's just funny.
Or a hoe or not, I suppose.
Exactly. Or a hoe or not.
Yeah.
Next Door just sent us one. Says, seems people are being harsh on the episode. I thought it was better than last week. Had a couple of genuine LOL moments. Matt Schatt and the volunteer. Sherman knowing that Colin was still annoyed at the bilingual monologue.
Yeah.
That was a funny line.
Yeah, that was cute. I mean, I'm a sucker for Sarah Sherman making fun of Colin Jost. If we could have like Sarah Sherman making fun of Colin Jost in a sketch that also has puppies.
Oh.
I mean, come on.
Trifecta.
And talking about how Colin Jost probably hates puppies or something.
Yeah, oh my God.
Free idea, SNL.
Free idea.
Yeah, I more or less agree with that, with you, Nick. Let's see. Our friend Boardman gets paid at Lahat the Lion. Says, this episode was okay, and they got the Shat sketch out of the way early. I'm just thinking, there was a sketch with William Shatner? What?
See, I was thinking about, past shatting.
Yo, Pete is coming back. How do you come back to something you never showed up to?
Exactly.
Yeah. Harsh but accurate. Like his early days were cool, but later on he seemed just there to talk shit and smash guests.
Damn, son. Got him.
I hope it's at least okay. And he gives a little okay symbol. And then some devil horns and a peace sign.
Yeah, but that's my main thing about this. Like, he just seems so hell-bent on leaving the show.
He was so checked out his last year or two on the show.
So why is he so checked in to host? Like, he does.
I guess because he wants to promote his new project.
Yeah, but I mean, he does know the host has to be there for the entire show, right? Like, he has to, like the good night.
They are expecting a heavier commitment than he had to give any time in his last 2-3 years on the show.
Yeah, like the monologues to the good night. He has to be there for that.
Right.
He knows that, right? He can't.
Like he can go fuck off and do his own thing during the musical guest segments and probably update.
Yeah.
But so that's a significant chunk of the show he can take off. But he has to be at least in those other sketches.
Yeah, it looks like a stand-in or something.
Yeah.
Like one of those cardboard cutouts of him. Just something like that.
Yeah.
And Ricky says, Anna was amazing.
Yeah.
Nice, short and sweet.
Yeah, I think she did a good job. I think she's got a funny bone in her. Don't.
I didn't say anything.
No, you didn't have to. I saw the look on your face, sir.
I didn't.
By the way, one of the best roast lines ever was Richard Belzer at one of the Chevy Chase roasts.
Oh, yes.
He said, the only time that Chevy Chase has a funny bone in him is when I'm fucking him in the ass. Bells. Fucking Bells, man.
R.I.P. Richard Belzer.
Oh, God.
Forever in our hearts.
He was the coolest.
Absolutely.
Man, Belzer should have hosted.
Yes.
That would have been incredible.
Hashtag Belzer should have hosted.
Yep.
So that's the episode, guys.
Yeah, people weren't too fond of it.
No, a lot of people weren't feeling this episode.
Yeah.
Especially the second half. People thought, they really went off a cliff.
Well, I mean, the show usually does get weaker in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it gets stronger, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And that's our episode for today, guys. Thanks for listening, as always. And, next week, the show is off. The shows will be off for the next 2 weeks, but this podcast ain't going to be off.
We don't take weeks off, baby.
That's right.
I mean, unless we take a week off.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
except for those times.
Then we take week off, but normally we don't take weeks off, except when we take weeks off.
Right.
But next week, we decided that we're going to do a movie. Dip our toe back into...
Startling break from our regular format.
Yeah.
Where we either talk about SNL or a movie starring people from SNL.
Exactly.
Like we do.
Yeah. So...
you know how we do.
You know how we do, son. So we figure, spring is here. Spring has sprung. Yeah. Maybe we could find a movie that having to do with spring. So we're...
spring.
Gonna do this little unknown movie called Spring Breakdown, 2009.
Kind of obscure movie, but we did a little investigating. Both of our libraries have it available, so we're like, let's check this out. And all I really know is the cover of the DVD, and it's got Amy Poehler,
yes,
Rachel Dratch,
yes,
Parker Posey. They're all buried up to their heads in the sand.
Yes, exactly. So it's one of those wacky, wild comedies.
Right. And I think it's like, they're women in their 30s who like go on a spring break.
Pretty
excursion.
Much. Yeah.
So I guess it's sort of like maybe like a female old school type of thing or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Like they're running around Fort Lauderdale trying to get laid.
I think so. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the cast list. It's pretty impressive. I mean, another SNL alum, Seth Meyers, is in this movie.
I enjoy the Seth Meyers.
Amber Tamblyn is in this movie.
Okay, married David
Jane
Cross.
Lynch is in this movie.
Jane Lynch is wonderful. She's undeniable. Not in the latest season of Party Down nearly enough.
Absolutely. Mae Whitman from Arrested Development.
Her?
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Bruce Valanche apparently is in this thing.
Okay.
God, that's where I lost you.
Yeah, I mean, a little Bruce Valanche goes a long way. Let's be real.
Christopher Knight, a.k.a. Peter Brady from the Brady Bunches.
Okay, that's random, but all right.
This will be interesting. This will be interesting.
Wasn't somebody else from SNL in it too, like Bill Hader or somebody, or Taron Killam?
That's all I'm seeing here.
I thought there was another SNL alum in it.
No, I mean, unless they're unlisted or uncredited.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, that's what we're watching. Spring Breakdown, 2009. Dig it.
Yeah. So we'll check this out. We know very little about this movie. We know it exists. That's about it.
Yeah, it should be a fun surprise for you and me.
I've never even seen a trailer for it, so I think I'm just going to watch it cold.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that. Just go in, just dive in cold and see
no preconceptions, baby.
Yeah, either it'll be a big, huge smash hit for us, or it'll be a horrible, horrible mistake that we regret.
Yeah. No middle ground. Much like Spring Break itself.
Yes, absolutely. 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 And that's our episode, guys. Thanks for listening. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. Mm-hmm. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. And we'll be here next week with our takedown of Spring Breakdown. Ooh. See what I did there?
Rhymes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Boom.
Boom, bam.
I don't even know if the movie deserves a takedown. It's probably a perfectly lovely piece of work. Or it's horrible and one of the worst things we've ever seen. And we've watched It's Pat.
Yeah, oof. That was a mistake. I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah. So, we'll see if this Spring Breakdown is any good or not. And, hey, if you've seen Spring Breakdown and you have an opinion on it, let us know. Tweet at us at SNL Nerds Show. And, please rate, review, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Tell your friends about the podcast. We'd like to have more people listening.
Yeah, please.
So, and then we'll be back next week with Spring Breakdown. But until then, Nerds out! We did it together.
We did it together.
We made eye contact and everything.
Oh, my God. It wasn't awkward at all.
No.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.